We quickly learned to play the big weekends only, which is New Year's, Super Bowl, Chinese New Year's, 4th of July, title fights, all that kind of stuff. So we would get, go out those weekends and get whatever we want. And actually the first weekend that Tyson fought after getting out of prison, we were out there in our casino host. There's 4 of us that were playing. Casino host said, "So how many tickets do you want?" And he said, 10. And like, okay, no problem. There's $1,600 ringside tickets. So I mean, it was crazy. We generated so many comp dollars that we could literally never spend it all. And we would get, depending on the casino, some casinos would actually write you like like a check. Say, here, you can go spend this in our store. Here's $10,000. Go buy whatever you want in our mall or our store. So we used to go on shopping sprees and stuff like that, which was kind of neat. Some of the best comps we got were one of the guys on the team. There was a Super Bowl in New Orleans. The Caesars in Atlantic City actually flew him down on a private jet right before the day of the Super Bowl to New Orleans. He stayed in a private, 50-yard line suite party, and went to an after party. Then they flew him back on a private plane right after the party as well. So that was one of the better comps. One of the other ones was actually a casino in the Caribbean actually flew a couple guys up to Vail to ski for a weekend, and then back down to the casino to go gamble afterwards. So I mean, the lengths that they would go to try and get us to come was amazing. But we were actually living a lie though, because when we were being these high rollers, in real life we weren't high rollers. We were MIT students. We were just kind of living this life. And then when we were back at MIT, we were also living a lie because we weren't really telling anyone except our close friends. So it was kind of a little bit stressful. I mean, you always kind of feel like you're hiding something, and that feeling kind of it weighs on you a little bit. So it is a little stressful. So it's actually nice now that it all kind of came out, and we can actually talk about it a little bit, kind of release some of that. So when you make this much money, the casinos, they try and track you down. They try and make sure that you're legit. They don't like card counters. You saw we got kicked out. We actually got, in one day of coming back, we actually got kicked out of 2 casinos. They only showed 1 there in the video. And what they do is a lot of these casinos hire Griffin Investigations, which is does anyone know what Griffin is? Griffin? Has anyone heard of Griffin? A couple people? Well, it's a company basically that attracts quote-unquote undesirables, casino undesirables. And traditionally, they always had pickpockets and cheats, and rail snatchers and things like that. Well, when we came around, they started putting us into their book as well. And we were lumped with all these criminals. And literally, it's like an FBI's Most Wanted, where it has your name, your date of birth, and you saw some of that up there. They actually ran credit reports. They found out what cars we own, our credit history, our social security numbers, everything, everything about us, they tracked it. And one time later, we actually got a copy of the Griffin book, and we are about, 140 pages of the Griffin book, which is much more than that. At one point, we pretty much took over their book, generated a lot of business for them. And one day we were flipping through the thing, and we saw a picture of Mike. And I said, Mike, that's a really good picture of you. Like, it looks like you posed for it. And he's like, all right, come here, look at this. He looks and he's like, oh, that's my yearbook picture. So what Griffin did, they actually posed as MIT students, got an MIT yearbook, and scanned in all the yearbook pictures of everyone on the team and everyone who went to MIT. It wasn't just the team members at one point. They actually scanned in every single MIT student into their database of casino undesirables. So it just kind of goes, shows you the length that they'll go to catch us. So we had to start using even more disguise. And well, I'll tell you a story real quick. Probably the most interesting disguise anyone used was a guy named John Chang on the team. He actually dressed up, he dressed up as a woman. And he's kind of a slight guy, not very tall. And he had the wig, he had a dress, he had his legs showing, He had high heels on, he had makeup, everything, full 9 yards. And he was not an attractive woman. He was barely an attractive man. And he was not an attractive woman. And he's walking to the casino, he's getting all kinds of attention. Not the good kind. And he sits down to play, and everyone's kind of looking at him funny because something doesn't look quite right. I mean, at the end, it turned out it just looked like a bad attempt to go drag. But he sits down, and after about 15 minutes, the casino manager comes up behind him and taps him on the shoulder and says, "Ma'am, we know who you are, so I gotta go." So, yeah. Well, one time we were in Mississippi, and we were asked to leave, and we were trying to get. When you're asked to leave, you just go. There's no point pretending, we're not doing anything. They know exactly what you're doing, and I mean, we'll just say, "Okay, thank you, we'll leave." Well, this one time in Mississippi, and when you're on an Indian reservation, which is technically a sovereign territory, you're never quite sure what they could or what they're going to do. And I'm Caucasian, but a lot of guys on the team were minorities. And they expressed a lot of concern to me. They're like, if some Chinese person disappears in rural Louisiana, it's probably not going to make the news. So they always want to get out of there real fast. So one time we were trying to leave, and the security guards were trying to box in our cars with golf carts, like to block us. And to this day, I have no idea what they were hoping to achieve. I mean, we're in a big car, and they're trying to play bumper cars with golf carts. So anyway, all good things must come to an end, and by the end of the 90s, our playing days were kind of running out. We were known, our picture was in the security rooms of a lot of casinos all over the U.S. Excuse me, and eventually it had to come to an end. And ultimately, we were a victim of our own success because we won too much money. And when you win that kind of money from Vegas, they don't like it at all. And the fact that we're from MIT, everyone always thinks, well, you guys are math guys from MIT, that's why I was there. But I don't think that's why, because the math that you do is just high school arithmetic. It's addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. That's all, at the heart of it, that's all it is when you apply it. Sure, the theory, you can go, you see all the complicated formulas. Yeah, developing it takes some math skills. But to actually apply it, it's not that hard. We were kind of a victim because it was at MIT. And I think more than our math skills, I think it really was kind of this entrepreneurial spirit. People at MIT are kind of quirky. Present company excluded, of course, I'm perfectly normal. But a lot of MIT people are very entrepreneurial, and that was kind of the trait that really made this happen here. But because we were from MIT, everyone knew, they're math geniuses and all that stuff. And we were getting escorted out of a casino one time, and one of the security guards said to the other, he said, those guys are, those are the MIT guys. Those guys can do anything. They're wizards. Almost as if they're going to pull like aces out my sleeve and stuff. So, by 1999, you get tired of going to Vegas and getting asked to leave. So I retired in 1999. Most of the rest of the team retired in 99 or 2000. And after that, we kind of went along our way, got back to normal life. And then in 2002, a guy by the name of Ben Mesrick wrote a book on our team called Bringing Down the House, and suddenly everyone wanted to know what really happened. So we actually started a company called the Blackjack Institute, and we have products, at-home products, training products to teach people how to play. And this is our newest creation right here, Blackjack VT. And this is something that we're real proud about. We're actually literally just launching it, and we basically shot in front of a green screen how you win at blackjack. And you guys are all internet people. You can't win at your blackjack. I think you know that already. What this does for you, hopefully, is kind of what the same thing Beat the House did for the land-based casinos, which is blackjack was actually a minor table game in the 1950s. Not many people played blackjack. Beat the Dealer came out, Ed Dorff's book, and suddenly it became the most popular table game in the United States and the world, for that matter. And it still is to this day, is the most popular table game because people think they can win at it. And there's very few people that actually can apply this correctly and actually win at it. But the fact that people have a choice of games, they can play craps where you're going to lose, or roulette you're going to lose, or blackjack where there's a chance you could win, and they're going to read the book and they're going to try it. So that's why blackjack became so damn popular right away after Beat the Dealer came out. And what this does for operators, for example, is it gives people blackjack's not a complicated game, but at the same time, the more comfortable they are with the game, the more they're likely to play and spend money. If you don't know what you're supposed to do, a pair of 8s against a 10, what are you supposed to do? Pair of 8s against a 10? Anybody? Split. But if they offer surrender, you surrender, right?